Hi, I'm Margaret Blackshere. A long time ago I came to this campus when there were no buildings. I graduated in a field and thought it was great. It was the same time we had MRF, and I thought that was great as well. My family enjoyed that place a lot. When I finished getting my degree in the Bachelor of Science in Education, I went to work in Madison, Illinois, teaching kindergarten. It was the 60s, and we thought we could do anything and tried our best to do that. Among the things that we were successful at is helping build a new school there, much as we had built the land here. When I was a student at Alton, Shirtlift campus, was when we got the idea to build our own SIU Edwardsville. Not everybody was as excited as we were, and we worked hard to pass the bond referendum. Some of the people weren't crazy about that, the farmers, because we were taking land, and that was the biggest shock to me, that we had people that didn't want to do what we wanted to do. We were doing it for the children, we were doing it for the family and the parents, and yet we had opponents. It also made me realize how much I was excited about politics. So I mixed them together. Teachers formed a party, Teachers in Politics, TIP, we called it. We didn't win anything. We got 1/3 of the race, 1/3 of the candidates, and felt good about that, and decided that we needed to broaden ourselves. So we got with other labor organizations, other worker organizations to get our job done, and then were successful. After 14 years of teaching, I was asked to be a part of the Illinois Federation of Teachers, and I became a lobbyist for them in Springfield. I had learned my lesson so well here because we saw what it meant to be a team. You can't do it by yourself. Nobody can. And so we proceeded to work with other people to broaden our team, and we're far more successful. The organization, the AFL-CIO, wanted me to run for Secretary-Treasurer, and I did that, first woman ever. I didn't think about that, though. You know, I thought about, we're just going to make change here, and the change is a part of that. And then the president retired, and I was asked to run. And always the Secretary-Treasurer had become the president, but not when a woman was running for the presidency. And so I had a very tough campaign, but I won. And then the next campaign, 4 years later, I didn't have an opponent. I won again and won. And it made it so much easier to have everybody working together, because these are most difficult times for public employees, teachers, education, pensions. I'm glad that I was a part of all that to make a difference. And I ended my career as the AFL-CIO president in Illinois and went to work for the White House. My mom was a government worker, and in the last years of her career, she didn't call it a career, she thought it was just a work. She went to Vietnam and was in Vietnam when the Tet Offensive happened, and I was busy with my children. We were marching against the war in Vietnam, and my mother was supplying it. And so it made for great conversation, and nothing got settled as much as it didn't throughout Vietnam. And so she always told me, there's anything you can't do, and if you keep on trying. My mother would do anything. She fixed lawnmowers because we didn't have a man in the house. We just had my aunt and her and my sister, and so it was a girl's house, and there wasn't anything we couldn't do. And so I believe that. I believe it still. I give it to my granddaughters all the time. You can do anything you want to do. First I got on student government, and we ran a campaign, a bunch of female students as well. And with it, we saw what worked and what didn't work. I remember that they made posters for my campaign that said, "Go, go with Margot." I've never been called Margot before or since that campaign, but I won that campaign, and so you go with what works, and we did. And throughout my, when I was getting my master's degree, I thought about, I was coming from a classroom experience, so I had some things that I wanted to understand better, and the faculty here is so good about how they interrelate with students and how they interrelate with those who out in the field. It was night classes mostly, but it was still what it was all about and what we needed to do as students and teachers. To get this honor is unbelievable to me. I don't understand how I got it, quite frankly. I started here and achieved I mean, when the trustee on this campus, I remember the many arguments we had with the Board of Trustees here because I sided with the students because I felt like I was a student. I can remember once wearing a badge. The students had an issue that they were trying to get resolved about social workers. So I wore their button, and the other board members didn't take very well to it. And I said, this is still a democracy, gentlemen. There is nothing that they can't do if they put the resolve into it. And when I was in Indonesia, there were so many wonderful young women who had been treated so badly, not physically, but mentally, told, this is your place, don't you dare try to go any higher. And we left them with a lot of confidence that they could do anything they wanted to. Take every opportunity we have. You can't stay home. You can't blame it on the kids. You can't say, my husband didn't want me to do it. You take advantage of every opportunity. I said that to all of them. They look at me with shock, like, well, I'm a married woman. No, you are yourself, and you don't have to give up anything. There are opportunities that can get it done.